happened yesterday.
Yeah. Yep.
And then this other clip I sent you was with him talking to Conrad on 83 Weeks. Now, the 83 Weeks conversation, I watched that too in the Ariel Helwani. So I'll play a clip from the 83 Weeks show. And I'll tell you this right now, Conrad's more optimistic than me. If he's saying something's bad, that's bad. Like that's saying a lot. Let me see if I can do this correctly. All right. Here we go. Play right here.
It starts with Tony Khan. It starts with the lack of vision, absolute lack of understanding, zero comprehension of what the wrestling audience, the 3 to 5 million active wrestling fans, depending on who you believe, that do tune into wrestling each and every week. That's your audience. It's not Dave Meltzer's fucking figure 4 online dirt sheet universe, but that's who Tony Khan is booking to. Everything that's done in AEW is done from the perspective of Tony Khan's fandom. And unfortunately, Tony Khan's fandom doesn't represent the other 98.8% of people that enjoy professional wrestling. Tony's booking for himself in his own fantasy. There's nothing resembling a thought process, creative or otherwise, as you just pointed out. That's a marketing positioning opportunity. It's reaching an audience, as you just said, that you don't normally reach.
Right.
And it's fun. It should be fun. It shouldn't be taken seriously. And the internet wrestling community, which are the simps that follow the Dave Meltzer line of thinking about what professional wrestling should be, they have zero creativity. They live in a little bubble. They're only comfortable with people just like them. And they just don't have any vision themselves. And that's who Tony Khan is, it's the cage match ranking crowd, along with Dave Meltzer. It's just such a waste of opportunity. And Tony probably doesn't care about wasting his money. He's got so much of it, it doesn't matter.
All right. Oh, God. Oh, no. Damn ads. Okay. So that pretty much summed up everything that he said on Ariel Helwani show, but I thought that was a bit more detailed than the Ariel Helwani because that was a little bit shorter on his show and he didn't go on a complete deep dive. So I'll let you take this first. Your thoughts, because you brought this to my attention. So go ahead.
So again, as a shill for the brand, Eric and I love Eric Biscoff. Eric, among a lot of people, have always been critical of the company, but I don't know if we want to call it a favor to Cody or the company being in a different standpoint. There was a point, Bischoff was on the show. He was on early Dynamites. So he was open to there being a new company and XYZ and XYZ. He wasn't always negative about it. And it's just like how I was saying how WWE has been so good with storytelling for several weeks. I was like, no, wait, months. No, wait, War Games last year. Oh my God, War Games 2 years ago. We're like asking me my prediction on certain main event storylines lately for almost 2 years. I'm like, I don't really care to give one because it's so good. It's so good, the weekly show, that I'm not concerned with giving a prediction because I'm just enjoying the show. Now, meanwhile, I've been, unfortunately, for a similar amount of time, so lost with AEW, where it's like, all I can think about is I can't think about what they're about to do because week in and week out, I'm like, what they're going to do is probably going to disappoint me. And all I can think of is, what would make it better? What could they do that would make this better? And I'm just constantly like scratching my head, like, they could do this, they could do that, they could do this, they could do that. Or like, Raw's been around now, what, 30 years, 40 years, 30
32.
something, 32 years. You know, it's funny because obviously there's been a lot of bad Raws. And then you when you think about like certain like NXT talent or whatever, and I hate to compare a 32-year-old show against a 5-year-old show, but like you would think about like if X amount of years ago, somebody from NXT debuts on Raw. And if it was their debut or if it was like 6 months into it, and if they're main eventing Raw, you're like, man, that's actually pretty cool. Good for them. They're main eventing Raw. But I find myself for the past 8 months, a year and a half, I'm watching, get to Dynamite, I get to the main event, I'm like, why is this the main event? Why is this closing the show? This doesn't matter. That match at 8 o'clock, 8:15, that was better. That was more important. The show that started, the match at the 9 o'clock hour or 10 minutes after the 9 o'clock hour, that was more important. Why are these two like? And I'm sitting there, and I was like, I liked watching the show. I'm like, I found myself a lot of times later, the main event starts. Cool. Am I behind? Because I'll just fast forward to the end. I don't even care to see the match. Or there's barely a storyline going on, or it's a storyline I don't care about. There's no title, no pomp and circumstance. You know, there's no stakes to the match. You know, I was just talking about how many titles WWE's got, but it's a 40, 50-year-old company with all these belts. The AEW has similar amount of championships, and it's a 5-year-old company. Now, granted, they're holding Ring of Honor with, you know, 20 plus year lineage for some of their titles, but nonetheless, they don't even know what they're doing with those half the time. Then, you know, just I'm venting. They're bad. They're bad way of like finishing. I mean, the worst, I would argue, this recent MJF Adam Cole double turn.
Oh, it's terrible. Oh my God. Don't go ahead.
It's the worst double turn in the history of wrestling. And I like both guys to an extent. Adam Cole, you know, I never want to be one of those guys that like, I don't believe in like, I'm optimistic to any wrestler I like being a babyface. I like when people say Seth Rollins is better as a heel, I like him as a babyface. Like I don't want him turning a heel right now because I'm a Rollins fan. Adam Cole, I'm usually cool. Everything he did as a babyface in AEW, I was here for. Mercedes Moné heat with him right now. In Dynamite, they I feel like this is not how they always did the Diamond Ring Battle Royal, but him and Kyle O'Reilly were the last two. So they have a match in a week or two, and the winner is going to go into the pay-per-view to face MJF for the ring. So you knew Adam Cole was going to the end because he was the only one that got an entrance. And I'm just sitting here and I'm like, again, I'm not trying to be hating on Cole like this, but I'm sitting there and I'm like, you got some big bad MFs in this ring. You got some guys with some good win streaks. You got some guys that have been in AEW day one. You got this guy, and I'm, again, not trying to be ignorant, but you got this guy who's had 3 or 4 matches since he was a Ring of Honor tag champion, jumped off the stage, broke his ankle, and he gets all the glitz and the glamour. Like, literally, I feel like they're trying to portray him like Austin coming into Raw to win a battle royal. We're like, you know, Austin's gonna win. Is it that obvious that Adam Cole? Like, the only people smaller than him in the match was all 4 of Top Flight. I hope it's gonna be him versus Kyle O'Reilly, and I'd rather see Kyle O'Reilly win. MJF turning heel again. He's a phenomenal heel. He outdid himself as a babyface. They're wasting him, whatever the hell they're doing. I know he's in Hollywood doing things or whatever. The guy can go in the ring. The guy can do both. He can be babyface. He can be heel. Turning him heel with no explanations make no sense. None. Wasting Wardlow again. I don't know. I say all that before we come off with, you know, my optimistic idea. do you have any venting you would like to do about said company?
Yeah, I will. Well, the main thing, like we already know how I feel about Tony Khan when he talking. First, Tony Khan, stay off Twitter.
Shut up, bitch.
Thank you.
Shut up.
Thank you. So you talked about Wardlow. Whew. I'm trying to equivalent an NFL fumble that I could think of that was that bad. Because I talked about this after he got that feud with MJF. He should have been skyrocketed to the top of the card. And then what was he, TNT champion after that?
Maybe
Like,
a two-time TNT, maybe a two-time TNT. Yeah.
And you just talked
both
about
runs are forgettable.
Yeah, and you just talked about the Adam Cole MJF thing. Last year when the devil got revealed and that promo, we talked about how stupid that promo was with Adam Cole cutting, because one, he can't wrestle. So he's not going to be on TV. And then he's in the promo, he says, we're going to win all the titles and Warlow's going to win the world title and give it to me, which I'm like, what? That makes absolutely positively no sense. And now you got this double turn. It's like, huh? Like, where'd this come from? Why are you cheering for Adam Cole?
Everyone has treated him like that. That's literally how MJF treated him.
It's wild. Now, look, AEW, they have done some really good things. I've rated AEW at the year-end shows fairly. They won my match of the years. They won my superstars of the year. They won my women's superstars. They won my breakout stars of the year. So they do good things. I enjoy Mariah May. I enjoy MJF. I've enjoyed Tony Storm. I've enjoyed a lot. But the way Eric Biscoff has said, and I've been in the same boat, they do not book to a wide audience. They book to that small wrestling group. And on national television, that's not going to succeed. The stories are not good. They don't make sense. And and another thing which really hurts them is because WWE is in the right hands now. You're not a big football guy, so I'm not sure if you're going to get this analogy, but WWE was the Dallas Cowboys and Vince McMahon was Jerry Jones. Vince McMahon was getting in the way of the company's success for it to be bigger. And Jerry Jones is in the way of the Cowboys being bigger. They've done some decent things, but they could be so much better if they had different decision making. And now that Vince is gone, that terrible WWE product that we shit on for 6 years of this show is no longer there. So AEW is not that fresh show anymore. It's not
it was so good for a period of time.
It's not that breath of fresh air anymore. The peak was end of 21-22. That was the peak of AEW. And now it's all gone. And in summer 22, that's when Vince left. And that's when WWE was in the right hands. So now when it's in the right hands of who we want it to be in, and I talked about this too. You were able to forgive AEW for mistakes early on. You can't, there's only but so many times you're going to take those mistakes that they continuously do. And it's showing now because WWE doesn't have those mistakes anymore. Even though WWE does make mistakes, they're still on fire and they're in the right hands right now. In AEW, they have to play. It's not even a contest anymore. And for WWE, ratings matter. They do not matter at all because they're on Netflix now. Yeah. They got so big that they're on Netflix. Ratings don't mean a damn thing to them at this point. AEW, they're going to be on Max, but that's still under the Warner Brothers umbrella. It's not them moving on to somebody else.
Yeah, 100%.
So when it comes,
I think it's going to be cooler for me because I was thinking about it when I was streaming Full Gear. I was like, man. Then I was thinking about Sting's retirement match. I was like, I streamed that.
Yeah, that would.
But in my head, what I'm saying is, I haven't bought an AEW pay-per-view since either World's End or Full Gear. So me, who is day one AEW pay-per-view every year, I'm buying it. I want to support. But now I just want a straight year where every show I'll stream it or I don't care to watch. I'll watch it after the fact. I'll watch a replay. I didn't watch any of them. Sting's retirement show, I know I watched that full thing off my phone and I streamed some of it to my TV. But I haven't bought a show in a year. The card hasn't been that enticing. I was just real giddy because the house was clean. I was like, all right, cool. Maybe this is worth buying. And I remember like the 2 matches I wanted to see, I didn't get to watch, but like I'm just like, all right, cool. Good thing I saved my money.
Yeah, and also, like not me giving AEW the credit. That Sting final match, that is still probably my favorite match this year. It's going to be in the top 5 for match of the year for me. It's going to be. So I'm being 100% fair here. And no matter what they do, they still try. They bring Ricochet in, but the way WWE is, it's like, okay, go ahead, take them. Like Mercedes, you want to take them. One of my favorite lines, Jay-Z lines, was this. I heard Mofo saying they may Hove. Okay, so make another Hove. NXT's doing that. How many Mercedes Moné / Sasha Bankses are there in NXT? Specifically, Kalani Jordan. By the way, Kalani Jordan.
Lord
maybe
have
better.
mercy.
Maybe better.
Yes. So it's like we have that. You got Sol Ruka. You got Jada Park. You got so many out. You got so many out there. Ricochet. We talked about Ricochet being an asset to WWE, but they're like, look, you don't want to resign. That's fine. You can go have a bang with Will Ospreay, but we're seeing the flaws in Ricochet's armor where we was like, okay, now I see why WWE didn't really let this guy talk or do much.
Or also, I hate to be that guy. Like, did we think we thought maybe this would be better for Ricochet, but did we think it was going to move the needle for the company?
No.
Something Bischoff says in the Conrad podcast, and he said it's proven that there's not a signing that's going to change the needle for the company.
Absolutely not.
Unfortunately, Adam Cole and Daniel Bryanson, whatever, on the same night didn't move the needle. Adam with Copeland didn't move the needle. Acquiring Ring of Honor didn't move the needle. The only thing you could debate, and it's so far long ago, the only thing you can ever say that may have strongly helped it for a short period of time was the signing of CM Punk.
It was.
You can say his first outburst hurt it, and I can guarantee the day he got fired, the company started going down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, then you also got this stuff because I didn't think Effie's interview was given some credit for it, but Ricky Starks just did an interview with Chris Van Vliet about not being booked, and then now he got pulled from his GCW shows. AEW is not allowing him doing that. Like, that shit is going to turn wrestling fans off too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And this is the one thing you hear all these things. And this is the thing: everybody can't be lying. And it's like the guys under contract, they'll defend the company because they have to. But you're hearing certain things from guys that also work. It's like everybody can't be lying on here. Like we know what it is. And like you said, the CM Punk signing was the only thing that actually kind of moved the needle for them. I said the end of 2021 into 22 was peak AEW. They were on the rise, and the whole Punk thing, they got the short hand of the stick because he got hurt, so they weren't able to have.
Didn't get the Summer of Punk.
Yeah, we didn't get the Summer of Punk. We weren't able to see Punk on the marquee everywhere, promoting the company, telling wrestling fans this is where you want to be. We missed. There were so many things that were left on the table when it came to CM Punk and AEW because he got hurt. So there's a little bit left on the table. And the best thing I saw all week was I saw it today. There was 3 memes. It was a meme, 3 parts. One column is all Jungle Boy. It said, because of Jungle Boy, we got Punk versus McIntyre. Because of Jungle Boy, we got Punk and Reigns. And because of Jungle Boy, we're getting Punk and Rollins. All because of Jungle Boy.
And now Jungle Boy ain't even TNT champion.
Exactly. All because of Jack Perry. But yeah, as far as what they can do to turn around, and like my favorite, like they signed people that I love and admire. I'm a big Deonna Purrazzo fan, but she got AEW basically. She got the starter pack. You'll get your title shot, then you'll fall back to the line. The only thing she didn't do with Jericho's podcast, but she got pulled back to the line. Now she's in a tag team with Taya, and it's like I love Deonna Purrazzo, but it's like I want to see you doing so much more than this.
I didn't even know she was doing that. I never even see Collision.
Yeah, I thought her feud with Toni Storm was really good. I thought the match was good, but it's like, come on. And I think Collision's ending too at the end of the year. I think that's coming to an end. I'm almost positive. I saw an article about that. That at the end of the year, Collision's coming to an end.
Punk show.
Yeah, and Punk was doing a good job booking that show. The Problem Child show, as I called it.
Oh, yeah. All right, so I mean, we obviously just ripped the company apart. Fantasy booking, if there was, 1 to 3 things you would do if you had the old proverbial pencil, what would you do to save the company or make it more interesting?
Whew. Well, one, like I said, I will book it as a television show because wrestling is still a television show. I'll make it viewer friendly. I'll make sure everybody knows who everybody was. I'm not just bringing people in from Japan or Ring of Honor. I'm cutting a lot of these titles because a lot of these titles are meaningless. There will not be any Ring of Honor titles on my show. There will not.